Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Mema wakwaba e de ba PENDREAM TV so make sure say obe subscribe to channel no click bell so say the news to our sabit me aka ntem no watie afa so make sure say obe like na wa comment no share ama afoforo so nsaka na comment section ho so no opese wo kire wa adwen obetimi e de wa adwen kire ato honom na manfo so anya bia kenkan na onim say PENDREAM TV there eye nsem a ekoso Ghana yam politics mu ne de ba na yasaka ya ne de abranti na so me video I saka pese no che na ye de ba nti me mo modern astro so obehwe video we amana si awie na wa kire wa adwen e comment section na se yenko video.
Look, by the new fees and charges for Kolebu, it's about 600 cities, 500 something.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know if the dialysis patients, they do 3 times in a week?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people
the
2 million cities can deal with? 1,111.
That's
1,111.
For just
they are
one
week. They are 1 week session.
One session.
So 1,111 persons can have their session for 1 week. That's what the 2 million cities will cover. If they are having their 3 times a week, so if you put it at 1,800 and you divide 2 million by the 1,800, it will give you about 1,111
to work
for 1 week.
We all agreed at the committee of the whole that it was woefully inadequate and there was a need for us to find other.
So 1 week. So when there's a discussion in Parliament about helping with dialysis and things, you cannot be speaking in the range of 2 million and all those things. That's just you know. Meanwhile, there are private companies
that are doing more than that.
That have decided that they will spend their profits to help these persons. And then when it comes to the state, the place can be closed for 19 people to die. And then private people who have earned their own money, like the First Sky Group, they have earned their own money. And they can decide to do whatever they want to do with the money, whether they will buy a private jet or do whatever they want to do. They've decided that there are a lot of people who are suffering. And so they should pay for their dialysis care. And then when it comes to the state's responsibility, we can lock up the place and allow 19 people to die.
You know, Randy, only last week I watched a news item on this dialysis matter. I saw a young man who was videoed sitting under a tree with his jaw in palm. And, you know, he said something that broke my heart. And I haven't been able to get that image off my mind since. He was asked about his condition. He said he didn't have money. He was just sitting there hoping that some good Samaritan will help. And when he was asked if he doesn't get help, what will happen? Randy, with the facial expression, body language, it was like, I'll just go home and what will happen will happen. I haven't been able since then to get that image and the words he uttered of my mind. Like that, I'll just go home and I'll go and what will happen will happen. And the way he said it, I mean, that is the level of, you know, expression you don't want man to get to.
See, if you're
and Randy, that's why
if you're a dialysis patient, just to bring it in focus, if you're a dialysis patient, and Doc, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they have 3 sessions in a week, not so?
A minimum, the average is 2, but you can have 3 or 4. Some can survive on 1, but the average should be 2.
2, okay. So if you're even having 2 sessions in a week, that's 1,200. In a month is 4,800 cities. So you need 4,800 cities to enable you go through dialysis treatment. That's twice. Initially, I was told that 3 times, but I mean, he's the medical doctor, so I defer to him. If you are even doing 2 times in a week, you need 4,800 cities. That's to go to Kolebu. I don't know about the other private facilities. The other places that they have, the Bank of Ghana, and all, there are some private facilities who have it, and their charges don't come under fees and charges from Ministry of Health. So I'm sure that they look at the cost of the reagents and all those things, and then they. But if you are even fortunate to go to a place like Kolebu, you will need 4,800 cedis every month to be able to. How many people can afford to spend 4,800 on only dialysis treatment?
Randy, if I could just finish with, you see, Randy, as I was saying before you came in, that is why, when we talk about the waste around us, it is not just talked to gain political power. It's not just talk to make another party look bad. Randy, look at this conversation we are having. And yet, when politicians raise the amounts of money that are wasted, like in the case of Paulugu, you have heard what has happened. The amounts of money paid, millions of dollars for no work done. SkyTrain, $2 million. Motorway, $8 million. Cathedral, millions of dollars, without anything to show. And you have problems like this, that we are looking all around us in the budget of institutions and in the state budget to find funds for. We have to understand that these conversations about wastage, about just dashing dollars or millions of dollars in these dubious contracts, actually lead to loss of lives. That's why I remember I think it was President Mama who said corruption is mass murder. It leads to people dying because funds that could have been used to improve institutions and the service of those institutions just end up in private pockets. So when we have these conversations about, this contract, this deal is bad, this state is ripped off. Yes, we are politicians and we seek to, get votes to win elections. But that should not always be the end. The conversations must lead to reforms. It must lead to decisions that will stop such mismanagement from continuing. $11 million there, $10 million there, $2 million there. SkyTrain, Motorway, Paulugu, you name them. And we have nothing to show. And yet you have dialysis patients who will just say they are going home and what will happen will happen. And all we can give them as a state is 2 million Ghana cedis from National Health Insurance Authority. I mean, are we really a nation with conscience? Sometimes I can't just understand why we are able to live with ourselves with some of these things happening around us. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Doc. Yes. I mean, if on an individual level, just like myself, he has a lot of compassion and pity for people when they suffer, I'll grant him on an individual level. But Ghana as a state, and forgive me for saying, but governments as entities over the years, they have not had this compassion. And so, from Nkrumah's time up to now, you let me make it Fourth Republic. All those who have had kidney issues, when Kufuor was president, Rawlings was president, Mama was president, they had to either die or find people to help them. Nobody cared about them. That's the kind of state we have. The issues came up recently for two reasons. A lot of people don't know. It's because First Sky, being a compassionate enterprise, their management and board decided that they will support all those who go for dialysis at Kolebu. And Doc, when COVID hit, because of challenges with performance of the company, the payments didn't go as they used to do. That is where those who used to get the service, because the payments were not going, the department started having challenges and either had to make them pay. Those who were receiving help from First Sky had to either pay or find other sources to get care. That's where the issue came up, and then the nation started discuss. But had it not been for the challenges that
maybe you should double check your information.
Yeah.
Just double check it.
All right. But
because I have contrary information.
Okay.
So just double check it.
All right. But the fact is that First Sky supported the department.
They still do.
Yes. They made me aware, I'm talking about Madino Kolebu, that during the COVID period, some of the reimbursements that First Sky used to do, there were some disruptions. But the point I want to make, even without going into all the details, I'm grateful to Mr.
Sedi Kutoji.
Yes, Kutoji, for all the support. But many Ghanaians didn't know that a corporate body was paying for dialysis for individuals.
So,
now, Doc, immediately we get trapped in, money has been paid for, nothing done, but people are dying. I don't want to go into monies that were paid into people some years ago when kidney people were suffering. But how does this conversation help kidney patients? That's my focus. It is to bring some of the real issues that we have to address now. I was the one who mooted this idea of some fund from health insurance for chronic diseases which are not in our package. I called it the Peripheral Diseases Fund when I was CEO. When we went to Parliament for approval, we met the health committee. The health committee told me that I should be careful not to be trying to solve all of Ghana's problems from health insurance, and that it is the work of the ministry to sit down and find, as a matter of policy, how to support kidney patients. So I'm very happy that this health committee, when they were receiving the budget, gave this allocation, Doc. But we want sustainable financing. As a nation, can we have sustainable financing for kidney care? Yes.
You had that discussion with me here.
Exactly. Yes. Why have we not had it, Doc? One of the places that must come together, we must put pressure on, is Parliament. And let me show you why. Parliament will tell you, but health insurance has money. Why should we give you another source of funding? Or why should we allocate some money? Health insurance has had money from Rawlings to now. But those who drafted the package had fears from their calculations that when you put the cost of kidney care in certain conditions like cancer treatment, it can let the fund go down. Doc, if that is their fear.
But we're always improving it.
The
medicine list and the ailment list keep changing.
Yes. So my point is that Parliament should have a conversation where either they would make specifics, an amendment to the health insurance bill, and say that this bill, all allocations to it, the act, all allocations to this organization should not be touched by any finance minister or finance ministry. And I mentioned that here. Failure to do so can elicit or trigger removal by just a quarter of parliament.
So the law says the first part that you are saying.
Yes.
Is the second part that it doesn't say.
It's true.
Exactly. What happens if the release is not done?
Exactly. And
because even if the release were done 60 days or 90 days, and it was done, we won't have a problem.
Look, yes. I'm adding the second one because this law or provision has shown to be only on paper, but very impotent.
Because it's difficult to get the 2/3.
Yes. Even if you give this law all the medicines on the market for performance, it still cannot perform. It's impotent.
Mr. Cabinet Minister.
No, this is an impotent law.
It's midweek, so it's okay.
And we have we have a duty to help this law to work. And that is one rendition. If we stop our politics and come together so that every money comes to health insurance, irrespective of the regime, then health insurance may or is likely to be the position to pay for all kidney care in the country. That's one, Doc. The second one, I'm happy Suhuyini mentioned that the bills, fees and charges of Kolebu was put together with all others.
That's how it's done.
I said, Doc, but
Doc,
is it not possible to say that because we have given this particular issue priority, we as Parliament, our calling or bringing the matter to the Fees and Charges Committee as a single item. If there's a law bar it, it does not.
No. But in this case, in this case, what I read Dr. Ine say was that at the committee, we flagged this issue. And we told
and it always
no. I'm coming there.
Okay. It always happens.
I'm coming there.
It always happens. And when you are given all the fees and charges, those that you have problems with, you flag it. And then the institutions that are responsible come to give you better particulars. You either agree with them or you disagree.
You know why I mentioned
it always happens.
That why do we handle some items as part of the overall package? Because of the number of fees that come to them. Sometimes it takes 2-3 years for a review of a charge or a fee. So I started by saying, as a state, we must look at ways to pay for kidney care. If we have not been able to do that now, the next thing which we have to prioritize is how to make sure that those departments that provide this care, we don't have a situation where the input cost is more than what comes or what they recover. It's the biggest problem that the departments have had, where they have the expertise, have some machinery, if not even the numbers they need. They can do the thing. But the one coming, what they take from the person, because it's a state or a government facility, cannot even pay for the resources they are putting in.
Yes.
And because of the bureaucracy of parliament and other procedures, so it takes 2 to 3 years to review a charge. With the forex movement, sometimes with inflation and all that, if you are taking 3 years to tell a department that you can now take this, you will run the department down if they don't get support from external sources. So no, I want to plead, and you know what? I'm happy, or I thank God I've been in parliament before. If parliament says that in a week or 2, they want your item to be looked at and come outside, they can. But, Doc, the wheels of parliament grind slowly. The things that must drag those wheels, there are many. Yes. But because this is a global show, I can't tell you all. Suhuyini, as a member of parliament, look at the compassion he has. I'm ready to work with him so that we get all our colleagues together, so that Kolebu will sit with them through the ministry. How much do you honestly put in this? Show the justification.
But you are in a unique position.
Yes.
Why do I say that? You are a medical doctor.
Yeah.
You were board chairman of Kolebu.
Yes.
You were CEO of NHIA. You are now the minister responsible for health.
Tell the CEO's title.
Doc, the biggest, I'll not say threat, challenge we have, to be honest with you, is parliament in terms of both the amount allocated, like you mentioned, the 2 million. We could have done more. But it's the health committee largely.
That's 2 million, I don't even want to hear
Doc, it's the health committee largely that determines how much is allocated for each line. So if the health committee in parliament had said that, look, we want you to allocate 8 million, 8 million could have been done. So, because I took it there the first time, it was 0. They told me, get off here, get ministry. That's when I was health insurance, to be involved. You at your level should not be trying to solve all issues.
So the 2 million was supposed to take care of who?
So honestly, the 2 million, I think they will serve as a subsidy. As in they will pay some amount to especially the government facilities,
units.
the key ones. So that
that's why the Tamale CEO is saying that it looks like the distribution they have excluded them. They also have patients.
So
they want some
even
money
if you are
subsidizing,
and they subsidize
if you are subsidizing, if a patient has to pay about 600 cedis, how much of that will you be able to subsidize with? If you look at the data, the number of dialysis patients for even Kolebu alone,
inadequate.
That's why I said they scratched the top of the issue, the surface. So really, that's why I said, Doc, me where I sit, we have the solutions. The only challenge or obstacle is parliament. Doc, there are many ways we can raise money quickly and help these people.
Why do you say parliament?
Oh, I'm saying parliament because
for the executive has also shown that any time it has the will or intends doing something, it gets parliament to do it.
Yes, that's what I've always said.
You know, so
parliament does government business.
Look,
I mean, basically.
From honestly, from where I sit, what I would do is to engage finance ministry. I know beyond the budget, they have some allocations for special needs or projects, so that we can have some funds added to these 2 million. So that whatever is paid out to Tamale, Kolebu, Kofanoche to help with kidney dialysis, it can be significant and not just, how do you call it, ephemeral or just marginal. That's what I can do from my